Okay, Maddie, we've got a phone call in episode number 7 today. It's going to be an anonymous. He wants to remain anonymous, so we'll call him Jack. Okay. Hey, Jack. Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Mate, welcome to the Mentors podcast, episode 7. And
Thanks.
and I know that you would like to remain anonymous, so we're going to call you Jack. Is that all right?
That's fine. Thanks.
Okay, Jack, we've also got Matt LaHood on the show today. So, Matt, say hi.
Hey, Jack, welcome.
Maddie, how are you?
Good, thanks.
So, Jack, you know what it's all about. You've got to give us what the topic is, your question, and we try and give you the best answer that we can. So, shoot away, my friend.
Sounds good. So, firstly, thanks for having me, guys. Just a quick question. I'm pretty new in the industry, and just in terms of prospecting and cold calling, I just want to know what the best way to sort of find your personal flow is. So, obviously, steering away from sounding too scripted or copying someone else's dialogue. And then on the back of that, when do you change it up to work out, which does work the best? Do you change it weekly or daily, or do you just pick something and run with it?
Yeah, great question. Okay, so Matty, do you want to give Jack some advice on that one?
Jack, I'm going to give you something really revolutionary, okay?
Yep.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Be yourself. Okay, so...
Good answer.
Okay, so you went to school, you made friends, yeah? You made friends after school. You got a social circle?
Yep.
What do you like with them? Any scripts and dialogues, or you just as you are?
Yeah.
So
personality.
So real estate is about being authentic, being straight, being real. People will pick up scripts and dialogues, and look, I think that's something that's crept into the industry. Like in terms of, I've got to say to you, I'm just so not a scripted dialogue person. I've been selling real estate for 30 years. I just used to go in and see the owners, still do today, and just say to them, look, here's what we need to do. And, they take you on, like people can feel if you're a wind-up doll or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot of agents running around like, practicing scripts and dialogues. I'm not saying, don't have some sort of framework.
Yeah, some sort of foundation.
Yeah, some sort of foundation.
Especially when you're new, you don't know what to sort of say.
Exactly. So Clouds is the expert at going through that with you. But in terms of like when you get in front of somebody and you're trying to read a script, if you just talk from the heart, not from the head, people are going to pick it up, Jack.
And what I'd also say, Jack, is literally just, a script is, you want to internalise it. So I work with a lot of new agents that come in the industry, they're green, they've never been in real estate before, maybe just like you, but they want some sort of foundational roadmap of what to say. Maybe if it's a just sold call or an intro call, I'm just joining the industry. So, scripts and dialogugues can give you that level of foundation just to build your confidence.
At the beginning.
In the beginning, absolutely. But
Yeah.
what Matt said is absolutely correct. You want to be yourself. A couple of things that I would say to you is, I work with so many agents that start in the beginning. And, one of the things is, I'm going to say this to you, is just learn to embrace the journey, okay?
Okay.
Honor the struggle, because it will be a struggle. It's like this. I say to people, like, love the adversity and love the rejection, okay? Because when you first start off, you're going to get a lot of rejection, and because you're not so much used to that, you just don't know how to handle it or whatever else. So that's number one. Number two is one of the biggest things I started to learn when I started real estate, and I know Matt LaHood did the same thing, was build your social currency. Meaning, like, if I was in your position, I would try and put 5 new people into my database a day. 5 new people that I come in contact. Give them a card, tell them what you're doing, who you are, what your offer is, etc. And then if you think about it, right, the biggest thing you want to try and do is build your database. At the end of the day, people buy people. Okay, Jack? So if you had 25 people a week, that's going to be 100 in a month. You could have a database by the end of the year in 12 months, literally 1,200 people. Okay, because you being new, are you doing a lot of say door knocking or cold calling at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay, so really right now you're going to have to ramp up your social currency to build your database, because I've got some people who've been in the industry for like 5 or 6 years. I don't know about you, Matt, but they're still door knocking. I'm thinking, have you thought about like building your social currency, building your database of people that you know? Okay. And I think that's the biggest thing as an agent, because they're going to go to jack.com.au, who is you, right? And these people want to do business with you, right? So at the end of the day, if you can aim to build your social currency and try and aim for 5 new people every day, I can tell you now, within 12 months, you will no longer have to do the grind. You know, get your face punched every day, right?
That makes it,
yeah, but it's not a bad thing either, because the more you start to love the adversity and love the rejection, I think that's what people don't prepare themselves for, you know, and then they go to hate cold calling or hate door knocking. But sometimes you've got to start somewhere, but everyone's different. I know, Matt LaHood, you didn't door knock, right? Because you had a large network. So could we give maybe Jack some advice? You're a very big networker.
Yep.
You built your business around networking. You never door knocked in your life or cold called, correct?
No.
So let's give Jack your version of when you started real estate and what you did.
Perfect. So Jack, just reverse up a bit too. So in terms of scripts and dialogue, the only scripts you would really need would be, you know, Q&A when you go to a listing presentation, like what questions to ask the owners. Now you can have a scripts in front of you around what to ask them, and then questions to ask the buyers. That's where your scripts need to help you. But then you naturalise those into your own dialogue. So Claudia might give you a whole lot of scripts around what to ask like a couple of questions you'd ask the owner, you know, like what's prompting you to sell, you know, what time frame you're working on, have you ever sold a property before, tell us what happened, those type of questions, but you put them in your own language, okay? So that's where you need scripts in real estate. Then when a buyer's coming in, you know, like a buyer, you say to them, have you looked at anything else today that's excited you in the market? You know, what price would you pay for it today? What, you know, how long you've been looking for? That's the scripts you need in real estate. Then you make them natural to your own dialogue, like you're talking to your best friend, right?
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
first thing.
Yeah.
Second thing, Clouds was saying before, like going down the path, I never use the word cold calls. I absolutely despise it. It's always warm calls. I'm only making a call that I know that there's a connection, right? So let me talk to you about in your life, and I don't know you, but I'm assuming, you know, you've got a hairdresser, you've got, you know, somebody that repairs your car. You know, you know the local people at the car wash. You know, like your family have got, you know, extended business contacts potentially, or, you know, whatever it may be. So there's the place to start, right? So they're not cold calls, they're warm calls. You're ringing up and you're saying, hey, it's Jack from XYZ Real Estate. I just wanted to connect and say, look, I don't know if you know my mum, you know my dad, you know, obviously the hairdresser you go to, whatever that may be. Just you got to let them know you're in real estate, because hairdresser was one of the biggest source of businesses for me. When you look on the video, I haven't got anything left now, so the visits are a lot less than they were when it was growing. But when it was growing, my business was booming.
Mate, you're going great. You're not losing your hair.
So jokes aside, but seriously, I went to the same hairdresser for 25 years. And the gentleman I went to in Coogee would probably send me John. Remember John? Yeah, John. John would send me at least probably a listing every 2 months, because he'd be sitting there doing someone's hair.
They just talk.
He'd be saying to his clients, what are you doing? They go, we're going to be moving up to the coast. And he'd be saying, look, I've got one of my clients here that comes in for years, really good, trusted agent. I've been looking after him for years. They go, give me, organise. So it would be that would be how it would work. So for you, look at your social circle, Claudio was saying before, but network. Like what accountants are you dealing with in the area? What solicitors? Do you know any bank managers? Do you know any? Go to the source where sellers are going to talk to before they decide to put their house on the market. Do you know you're working with any valuers, any strata managers?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And I would start there first, and then after you've done that, if you can't get any results, then go warm calling and cold calling.
Yeah. You know? And you know what I used to have, Jack, is a thing called an automatic shot. The automatic shot were three people in my inner circle that would always refer me business. So whenever I felt my business was lacking listings, or I had the listings but I didn't have buyers, my automatic shot were 3 people. So number one, there was a lady by the name of Mary. I won't mention her surname, but she lived in Darling Point, right? She used to go to play bridge in Double Bay every Wednesday, I think it was. And she was a great client. I sold for her, sold for her daughter. Her daughter was really high up in the bank. I used to get referrals from her daughter, etc. So I did a lot of business for her for a long time. Anyway, whenever I felt like I needed some listings because I had buyers, I'd go to Mary. Hey, Mary, look, next time you're at the Bridge Club down in Double Bay, if you hear of anyone that may be looking or needs some assistance with an agent, can you just think of me? And I would tell you, I would have either 2 ladies ring me, or she would ring me and go, Claudia, did you get a call from Doris? And I'd go, yeah, she did ring me. She goes, yeah, she's looking at selling her investment property in Bondi Beach or whatever it was. So that was my first automatic shot. The second one was White City Tennis Club, okay? I don't know, Jack, but my background was, after I left school, was playing professional tennis. And then I thought, well, how can I make this relevant for me and make an association or synergy with what I do? I love and I'm passionate about tennis. So I joined up White City Tennis Club, right? And in those days, I used to go on a Wednesday afternoon. All the old guys used to come, the doctors, the lawyers. And there used to be a round robin, 1 till 5 o'clock. And guess what they said when we're having a beer at 5 o'clock? Claudio, how's the market? And I said, that depends. Are you looking at buying, selling or renting, right? So that was my second automatic shot. My third one, and he won't mind me mentioning his name. His name's Mark Melick. And he now owns a mortgage company in Maroubra called Ozpac, which he sold out to for quite a bit of money. And I used to ring Mark and say, hey, Mark, if you're dealing with anybody around looking at buying or selling, think of me whenever I needed him. And I'd reach out to him. So I had these three sources, is what I called my automatic shot. So think of your business. Who could be the three people that you could have an automatic shot? So good market, bad market, ththese people will reach out to you. They're your raving fans because they know who you are, what you do, and what your offer is, and the type of person that you are. Okay? So that were the three bits that I did. So Wednesdays, White City, Mary at the Double Bay Bridge Club, and then my good old friend Mark Melick. Okay? So think about that as well.
That's brilliant, Klaus.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
Jack, one last. Have you got a pen with you?
Yep.
I want you to write this down and keep it in front of you for the rest of your real estate career, right?
All right.
Okay, you're right?
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yep.
it's not about who you know, it's about who they know, right? So the people that you know, it's about who they know. So you've got all that circle of yours, you've got to get in their heads and then get them sort of working for you. Because there's an American study that came out, it said that everyone knows 285 people, right?
Wow, it's true.
So you think of it, how many people would you know? Think about it.
And then the degree of separation.
Yeah, that's right. And then so you're arching off the trust of the people that know you to trust them to refer you. Does that make sense?
And they already trust you.
And they already know, like, and trust you. So you've already sold yourself to them. So cold calling shouldn't need to happen, right? Now, when do you cold call? You should cold call when you have a red hot buyer who's looking to buy in a certain street. They're the only cold calls you want to be making.
Yeah. Or you've got five or 10 leftover buyers from a sale that you had on the weekend.
And they're not even cold calls. They're warm calls because you're ringing with a reason.
A purpose.
Yeah,
with a reason.
You've got a call to action. So if you never make a cold call again, you'll get up and skip to work every day making warm calls. As Cloud said, building a network with the people that are in the business that are networking, that already own real estate. And that's the only leadership you need to think of every day. It's not about who you know, it's about who they know. So just remember, everyone you speak to knows 285 people.
My God, that's huge.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good. That's a good.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just live by that
Wonderful.
theory all the time. I'll start speaking to somebody and then it's a bit like, you ask somebody, know anyone who's thinking of selling? And they go, oh, not really, no, we don't. It's a bit like when you ask someone, do you know anyone that's pregnant, right? If you do ask that, people first time they'll say, not really, and you say, you sure? And they'll go, oh, actually I do, my sister's cousin. It's a bit like, do you know anyone that's selling? People say, oh, no, not really. If you ask them, you sure? There's got to be someone in your circle. And they go, actually, I think I do. All of a sudden, you've got people, leads that are there when they think about them.
Exactly. And let me just leave you with one last thing, Jack, and thanks for joining us. Here's the one thing I would leave you with. Matt's giving you one, I'll give you one. From a cold calling perspective, which Matt said it's not a cold call. If you're ringing with a purpose, it's an actual warm call. But, always come from the place of help rather than sell. The 4-letter words, help, 4-letter word is sell. So maybe perhaps when you sell, if you've sold something or if you're working for someone that sold something and you're ringing around the street, just sort of say, look, just reaching out to some of the neighbours in the area. You may have seen a recent sale just down the road. As part of that sale, we have a couple of buyers that are looking to, who've earmarked your street and looking to buy in the street. Just wondering, would it be helpful if you were to get a market appraisal today to see where your home sits on the market today? Would it be helpful?
Yeah.
So use words like that can actually have a level of influence, a level of persuasion, but also because you're coming from that place of help where most agents go, would you like a market appraisal? Like, say, would it be helpful? Even when you're doing your callbacks, we're thinking of selling our unit in Coogee, and you might say, well, would it be helpful if we came and did a market appraisal on your home so you know where it sits, whatever it may be, or a market assessment? Sometimes little words can make a difference in getting the outcome that you want. Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Because you're being helpful.
Absolutely.
And something that they can value rather than...
Absolutely. Would it be helpful? Hey, Jack, look, Matt and I have really appreciated your time on the phone this morning.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Mate, and thank you for your question. Hope that helps. Go out there. We'd love to maybe catch up with you in maybe 6 months, Jack, and just tell us how your career's going, okay?
Sounds good. Lock it in.
Okay, sounds good. All right, my friend.
Guys.
All the best.
Have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
so much. Bye.
Bye. Matty LaHood. How many agents do we get that are brand new that come out, right? Like they just don't have sort of getting an idea or a roadmap, you know?
Don't you love the honesty of somebody that's brand new though
Yes.
too? They just they just got that help me written all over
Exactly.
the voice.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
looking at them, right? But they just got help me sort of written on.
Correct.
And it's good that there's a place like this, Clouds, and you're coaching that they can tap
And I
into.
just remembered I forgot to bring. I was meant to bring.
No, not at all.
About social media.
It's now a trike. It's not a bike, right?
Like next to me.
We're not a bike with two wheels. It's a trike. And Clinton on the other side balancing it.
Exactly.
I was just going to add, though, to the point that you guys are talking about,
Yeah,
right?
tell
Where you
us.
talk about the network. The story that happened to me is I had a lovely lady that I was pitching to one day, right? And she actually worked in an office over in Green Square. And I went in, I spent an hour with her. I delivered as much value as I could, and did everything I could to make sure that she trusted me.
Yeah.
And then I walked away from that situation not thinking anything of it. What had happened though is I'd been putting a good product out, been working on it, and she became my number one advocate. She was the first one. She was connected. So to your point, in terms of that connectedness, right?
Totally.
She knows everybody in the industry.
And that's what I was talking. That to me is like your automatic shot. Like you could go back to her, and like she would refer your business. Like just talking to her, just to, remember you.
Yes,
You know?
100%.
And you just look after your top sort of,
That's
top 20 or 30 referrers
Yep.
and connect with them regularly. I used to connect with them, every week.
Mm-hmm.
So they would remember, it's not, people don't know, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yep.
I just drop past my top referrers, drop in, have a coffee with them at their workplace.
Yeah.
Just on my way out the front. Even if they were busy, I'd just drop them a coffee in. Anyway.
Is that right?
Yeah, all the time. I used to do it all the time.
What a simple little thing to do.
That's why I'm addicted to coffee, Clouds. I've had 3 this morning. You with
This
me?
morning, we're waiting for breakfast.
It's already-
It's 2 piccolos, and I thought, I don't mind a piccolo. And he goes, no, they're both mine. Your cappuccino's on its way.
But here's the thing, right? So when we let's go back to word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
And how important that referral system is. What's happening now with social media is you've got access to create more content,
Yeah.
to document what you're actually up to,
Yes.
to connect with more people, and to
Yeah.
amplify that word of mouth.
Yeah.
So what's happened, right, is that one person that I was connected with, I can now take one
Yeah,
job
good
that she
point.
gives me, document it,
Yep.
put it out to social media on all the different channels, put my name on the end of a piece of content, and now 100 people versus 10 have access to that piece of
Yeah.
content.
And then you've
And
already
then it grows and it grows.
You've got credibility on the back of her as well because
Exactly.
she's connected to people.
Exactly.
They can see,
Wow.
she uses Clinton.
Yeah,
that's
so,
really
so
clever.
another real life example,
Yeah.
right? So doing this podcast,
Yes.
which has been like a fantastic experience to watch how people are responding to it. Because Sprinkler Media is linked to it, people have seen that. I've now got more credibility.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, then I might do work with Patrick Cosgrove,
Yep.
right? So he came on the show, episode number 2. We've done
Yep.
some work together, and I'm documenting that process, the stuff that we're going through, and I'm putting out
Yeah.
weekly mashups with him in it, and I'm putting out
That's right.
his content with Sprinkler Media on the end of it, right? And the same thing happens. So somebody else says that, and they're
And
like, "Hey, I wanna
Sprinkler
work with you."
is growing rapidly, obviously, and then what'll
Right.
happen? It'll reverse, give us credibility. We're talking, and then through
Yep,
that's
you.
it.
Yep, and it's all
I've just
positive.
got
It's all
instant
value,
credibility
value,
being
value.
in the same room with Claudia.
I don't know.
My credibility
Thank you,
thorn.
Maddie.
But it works, right? You put positive. I walked into this show not expecting a thing from it,
Yep.
and just wanting to do something to help.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how you should approach any piece of content
Yeah.
that you
Well,
put
that's
out.
exactly what Claudio's idea was when
that's
he
what
set
we
it
said.
up.
We said
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
try and help as many agents as possible.
Yep.
Let's try and keep it real, because what probably someone is going through right now, they're probably going, I'm new, what would I do? Like, for example, that call we just did with Jack.
Yeah.
What could be some things that I do? And if there's 2 or 3 takeaways, I mean, as you know, and I know, Matty, like we're dinosaurs, but
Yeah.
we didn't have this opportunity
No,
where we could, like now
imagine
you can
if
get a
we did.
podcast, you can go on
Yeah.
YouTube or whatever it may be, and today you can get this sort of information
Imagine,
instantaneous.
just getting the feedback, Clouds, too. We should share with all the listeners what you've been getting around the authenticity of.
Yes.
They like that it's not actually scripted and
Exactly.
it's real.
Exactly.
We're just answering as they come in. We don't know the question, so we don't really know the answer.
Just put us
until
on the spot.
Yeah.
It's not like we've got 3 weeks to sort of think about an answer, or we get together and bounce off the answer.
No,
It's like
exactly.
we get put on the spot, and then and I think the beautiful thing
Rough and
now
ready.
with Clinton here, the value that he's going to give a lot of these guys as well, because that social media needle, as you know, Matt, that's where it's all going, right?
Oh,
like,
100%.
You know, to me, social media is like Channel 7's LinkedIn, Channel 9 is Facebook, Channel 10 is Instagram. It's
100%.
So here's a good story for you, right? I was down in Piedmont, and one of the news anchors for Channel 10, he walks up and down the strip every day. Right? And I go down there, I drop off footage to the editor, to Tom, and he walks past. Like, you know the guy that's got like the reddish kind of hair, and he's always on Channel 10.
Hugh Remington.
Yes, Hugh Remington,
He's
right?
a great reporter. Yeah.
So like I stop him in the street. I'm like, mate, can I get a photo with you? And he's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And he looks at my shirt and he goes, oh, what do you do? And I go, you know, like I'm a social media guy making video content. Yeah. And he literally looks at me and he goes, mate, that's where all the money is, mate. That's where it's going. Like, literally what you're doing is the future.
Really?
Because it's happening, right? Like news
100%.
used to be the big thing. That's where distribution took place. That's where all the attention was. But now everybody's on their mobile phone.
Yep.
Great.
Everybody, right?
Well, Matt's got a bigger checkbook than me, so he can buy you out.
The thing is,
We'll talk
Clinton,
later.
you know, the hilarious thing, and I think about this, you talk about it's all going, everyone's got a phone. Like, say, my son's 19, right? Mm-hmm. Can you believe he's never read never picked up a newspaper?
Yeah.
So,
100%.
you know, and my daughter's 17, wouldn't even know. She wouldn't actually know the name. If I said Sydney Morning Herald, she'd go, what? Yeah. If I said Daily Telegraph, they go, what? But they know more about it. They tell me, did you see there was an accident here? Or did you see something? I mean, how do you know? They go, I've got the live news feed on my thingo on the phone. So, like, they know stuff's happening before I do. I'm old school. I like to go and read a newspaper and have a coffee. And they go, Dad, what are you doing? Like, if you go in a cafe today and have a look around, 90% of people, or if they're sitting by themselves, and even if they're sitting as couples, they're either on the phone or they're on their laptop.
Correct.
It's unbelievable. So if you're not in that space in front of people, you're not getting your services picked up, correct? Yeah.
Got something great from this episode? It would mean the world to us if you passed it on. Tune in each week as we mentor a new agent. Have a question? Want to be on the show? Get in touch with Claudio Encina, Matt LaHood, or visit our Facebook page. The Mentors is brought to you by Sprinkler.media.